Thank you so much.
It's great to have you.
Great. I'm so happy. This is an amazing opportunity to meet you and to share with you
Yeah.
all this.
So I would like maybe give you some time to introduce yourself and explain a bit of your background.
Yes. Okay. My name is Jorge Contreras. I'm originally from Colombia. By education, I'm an electronics engineer, and I have a specialization in management back in Colombia. I have some years experience working in telecommunications, in sales and marketing, but also in management in some companies. And I had the beautiful opportunity also to join part of the government in Colombia in 2012 to 2016, 17. And then I came to Denmark to study a program, a master program that is the only place in the world that they have this program. It's called Techno-Anthropology in Aalborg University. So I have a master degree in Techno-Anthropology. Yeah.
What brought you then to want to study specifically techno-anthropology?
Yeah, it was a very interesting analysis or research, because I was, as I mentioned, I was working in the government, and I was working in public policies, in procurement, and I was also working in digital government or e-government, and we were investing a lot of money in our country to how to connect the national plan for going in a better way to fulfill the requirements from the OCDE and understanding the real situation of Colombia. And we were having expectations and reality. And then the expectations were different in comparison with the reality, and there was nobody trying to fill these gaps. So we were investing money, and the money were not getting the impact that we were dreaming. And every time we changed government, because we change government every 4 years, then the gap between the first decision and the second decision, when the second government comes, creates a bigger gap, a bigger distance between the expectations and the reality. So I was curious how to bridge these gaps, how to understand the position from the technology and from the needs of the regulations. If you want to be part of the OECD countries, you need to fulfill some requirements, some minimum requirements to be part of this organization. But Colombia was far. So to bridge this, we need to do something. And there was nobody working on this. I was asking many people in the academia, in the private sectors, and there was nobody talking about this. And I started to search possibilities to understand how can we bridge this? How can we do this professionally? Then I was finding options, and I found the concept of techno-anthropology. Initially in Mexico, then my friends from Mexico told me, no, you can go to Europe and maybe it's coming from there. And so I contacted people from Spain. It was easy because of the language. And they told me, if you want to know more about the roots of techno-anthropology, is Denmark. And then I found the university. I applied for the position at the university, or the position, but the spot in the program. And then I decided to come to Denmark to study.
Now, can you explain and define techno-anthropology?
Yeah, so exactly what you were saying. So we have two corners. The corner the corner of the technology and the corner of the users. But sometimes we have another corner that is connected with the experts. So we have experts or technical experts that are very well informed, or they know how the technology works, but they are not necessarily aligned with the user's perspectives. And sometimes there are tensions and misunderstandings between the users and the experts. And sometimes the users don't have a clear understanding how the technology is creating some rules, artifacts, procedures, or structures that mediates the relation between this technology and the users. So sometimes these artifacts are very difficult to understand. For example, a regulation. That is an artifact, a concrete artifact. Regulations how to implement in a country the iPads for kids at schools. So the technology is access to computers and iPads for kids, and the artifact is the rule that they are creating to enable these technologies in schools. But who are the experts here? Teachers? The people from the government who created the artifact? The people who created the technology? Or the kids? Who are the experts? Techno-anthropology addressed these tensions and these misunderstandings because nobody is mediating these relations. Sometimes the relation or the mediation is in the experts' side. Then you hire a consultants firm to do that. And they are experts. They tell you where is the problem, why this is the problem, but they don't necessarily explain how to do it with your own context. And that's what we do in understanding techno-anthropology. How to understand the context, how to understand the real situation that is explaining the concrete relation between the technology, the users, and the experts in this setting. That is why techno-anthropology in Colombia needs to be or treated differently, because the context is different. If you have company from the industry 1, healthcare, and company from the industry 2, energy, maybe the experts can be the same, maybe the technology is the same, but the context is different, the users are different, the use cases are different. If you don't understand that and mediate and facilitate the understanding of these two different industries, then you are creating, we call oppression, or something that is not enabling the technology in this industry.
You borrow methods from various disciplines like
Yes.
engineering, anthropology, etc. And I was wondering, is there a core of principles that shapes the way you work?
With ethnography, we use, you understand what is happening in this field, but what is happening in this field. If you talk with engineers and ask to engineers, what is the reason we have a problem here? They say, from the discipline, they say, no, what is a problem here is this technology. This is not well connected, this is not working. If you talk with the people, the users, they say, no, it's because I was not trained. If you use ethnographic methods, you can see, read, foresee, co-create with the people and detect things that are not easy observed by an expert. You are using, when you use ethnographic methods, you try to interpret from an outsider perspective what is happening there. And you came with incredible insights from people that you never thought that were important in this discussion. I was talking about wind turbines. If you interview a person that is working in the wind turbine, in the top of the wind turbine, and the people who is creating the rules for safety, for example, in the regulation instance, you see that it's useless, the regulation, when you don't take into consideration what they are feeling, living, and experiencing up there. How to bridge this is what we do when we do ethnographic methods. Sometimes we use digital methods. Is something that we can use social media, for example, and map what is in the social media regarding what is the name of this, a controversy. What is happening with tablets for the kids or the use of phones at schools. We go and map what is happening in Instagram, Facebook, and all the social media, and then try to see in a map what are the discourses, what is happening. With this information, now we can focus our attention in the ethnographic work and try to understand more what is happening there and analyze this information.
If I am proposing policy, or in the private enterprise, bringing new products to market? How do I get started with?
Oh my God, that's a
Techno
very
anthropology.
interesting question. The best idea is to hire a techno-anthropologist.
Here you are, Jorge.
You can hire a techno-anthropologist, but the idea is to be open, that you need to find groups, create interdisciplinary groups without boundaries. We call ourselves boundary spanners, because we can transit between domains without having a boundary that's stop us. So we need to find best ways to understand that the interdisciplinarity and transdisciplinarity can give a lot of insights when we are taking decisions. And to open the door to this kind of exercises is very rich and very, very relevant nowadays, because I've noticed that in the last years, living in Denmark, that every time people open the window or the door for interdisciplinarity and holistic approaches, always it gives a lot of good results. They are surprised. Most of the time they are surprised, because it's incredible what they can get.
From your perspective, what is it important to be aware of to get the best out of complexity, cultural differences, diversity?
What I was learning from the discipline is that I was not aware of anthropology before, or social science. I was engineer and I was working in a very structured way. And in Colombia, you know that Latin America, Latino culture, they are more flexible on some things, and they are more living with the seasons, I can say maybe. In Denmark, and in Europe in general also, you are more structured, and you plan ahead many. You prefer to plan ahead with good time. I can say that people, if you have a meeting here, you can plan the meeting two months ahead. Say, okay, maybe we can meet in week 40, and that's very, very important. I was surprised at the beginning, because I was not ready to prepare myself in advance that much.
That's interesting.
I was what is this word is improvising.
Yes.
I was ready to improvise.
Yes.
And that's something that you have, like, that's an advantage sometimes. But when you are trying to redefine, transform, adapt a new way of thinking, you cannot improvise. You need to take all these elements for structuring, planning, understanding, translating, interpreting. It requires time and requires rigorosity. That's what I learned here.
What did you need mentally inside yourself to cope with that? It sounds like quite a cognitive challenge or mental challenge.
A huge challenge,
yes.
Especially because I bring my family to Denmark, and so in the normal time at the university, I was trying to shape my way in that way, and then when I reached home again, it was again the previous mindset. So it was a big challenge, and
you swapped between mindsets.
Yes, exactly. It was very difficult, and sometimes it was difficult also for my family, trying to understand, because they didn't know where to go with me. They were like, "What is happening? Are you changing as a father, as a husband? Yes. Your mindset, everything. So why are you so structured now, and we were improvising in the past? What is happening?" And I noticed that my whole family is also changing and adapting. We are resilient now because now we are pushed into this field, in this way of thinking, and this way of or a structured way.
What, if you should say some words about your personal strengths, what made that big transition possible?
I have two big motivations. Maybe I can tell you about my frustration in Colombia, seeing how we waste the money every single week, every single month, every single government. Most of the money goes nowhere. So They spend, they execute the budgets, but we lost our money. And we see that the progress of Colombia, we are growing and we are changing a lot. If we compare Colombia 50 years ago, and now Colombia is outside the poor countries. Now we are on developing countries and we are in the OECD. Many things are changing. So it's positive, the change. But still, I evidenced and I witnessed that we are wasting money. And I didn't have tools to help. And I was very worried about the future.
Yes.
And I have family, I have kids, and I was saying, when I was in the government, I was not able to change anything. I noticed I was witnessing everything, and I was frustrated because I didn't have the power to change anything. I say, how can I change this? How can I contribute a little with this something?
Yes.
And I tried to come to Denmark to be trained, to understand, and go back and do something. And then 2 years ago, I decided not to go back to Colombia.
Because?
Because there was no reason to go back to Colombia, because it's not going to change. Because I'm going to have more access to network, no power, but network, knowledge, and ideas, how to
and
persuade
maybe also
and
motivation.
engage, and motivation to engage more people in our things, and then the people can do that, and I can help from here. I can be more useful for Colombia being here than being there, because there I'm going to be maybe in the politicians' environment, or with power, with money, but I don't like that. I understood that this is not about money, it's about transformation. And if you want to transform a society, you need to work with the technology, we need to work with the culture, you need to work with the education and the values.
During the years, you have learned that you can have a lot of impact, as I understand. What kind of impact do you have today?
It's also beautiful to say. The network of techno-anthropologists is connected between Mexico, Colombia, Spain, and Denmark. Now the network is working. People from different countries working with the same alignment of methods, theories, and everything. So they are collaborating. In the university, I managed to engage the students in this trend of being techno-anthropologists, but conscious techno-anthropologists, and they grant me with the students, not the university. The students granted me with the Teacher of the Year at Aalborg University. So that's also a big prize for me, because it were the students who were recognizing this. Then I was hiring this company in Denmark, and the way they are now adopting many of the things of techno-anthropology, because I'm not the only techno-anthropologist in this company. We are 4 now. And they are recognizing.
Were you the first one?
No. There were 2 more before me. Then one of my students was hired by the company when I was giving the lecture together with them in this company. So they hired one of my students from the 2nd semester of techno-anthropology, just the 2nd semester, and they hired her. And then we started talking about possibilities, and they hired me also. And now in the company, now we are creating spaces, for example, together with the people, outside the boxes, outside the structure, the departments. We created one initiative to connect the people with the values and the strategy of the company. And that's mediated. It was mediated through a techno-anthropologist. Nobody was doing that. And now I'm trying to connect this, and it's working in the company. Now we are creating new spaces, and the administration is happy, and the people are happy, and we are creating opportunities like this. Yes.
Berit, what did you notice about Jorge?
I wrote here on my note, taking an impressive responsibility built on critical analysis regarding the need for even developing and saving the planet, I would say. It sounds like it has this big perspective, and it is amazing to watch the combination of passion and logic, knowledge and ambition in kind of a big box. And when this is mixed like that, it becomes very persuasive. If you need hands and legs to do the job, I think it's a matter of time. He is already reaching out and he is communicative. It's a matter of time with all this power and this knowledge and argumentation. That is kind of the key impression I got from him. Then I also noticed the very interesting topic he has chosen, trying to find the common denominators in knowledge areas, in business cultures, in systems that are not connected. They might have some common goals, but they are disconnected somehow. And then he has the courage and the knowledge to put himself in the center of this facilitator's role, because if it is not facilitated, it's waste. So my kind of conclusion is passion, overview, big picture, sense for the needed processes. That is what comes across to me.
And for me, I'm seeing taking risk,
Yes.
leaving everything behind, bringing family, changing everything to find the right place, and then breaking silos. Something that a lot of businesses talk about.
Yeah.
But how do we do it?
Yeah, he
And
put
here
himself.
he's doing it with maybe something that's even harder than, let's say, a company's department, which is the academic disciplines, and breaking them and pulling from. It's both breaking the silos, but at the same time being able to draw upon all the knowledge and wisdom from various disciplines.
Exactly, and that I think is the huge strength in him. It is a strong knowledge, a strong work ambition, and then he knew he had to get something different in order to make it happen, because he saw that nothing happened and it frustrated him so much. Then he found out what kind of tools could mitigate these silos, and he was being an engineer, I guess, with a fairly logical mindset. He accepted to be the mediator of processes between humans, between human brains, and that is what is needed to get things moving. Respect.